Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I love you. And guess what? God loves you best. Thank you so much for returning to my channel. And it is a pleasure for those of you who are new. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so pleased to have you here with me. We are back for another video. We are reviewing the Braxtons. This is season 1, episode 5, and the episode is Happy Birthday, Traci. Okay, so today is Thursday. It is 11:26 p.m. Eastern Time, so I am going to try and be as thorough as possible, but as quick as possible, because I'm going to do episode 6 right after this and try and get them uploaded, so you'll be seeing these on Friday, and then I'm going to be watching the next episode right after that, so on with it. So the episode opens up with Tawanda screaming like a banshee, and I'm like, girl, what is your problem? She sounded like Miss E. She just had all this. I was like, okay, you just doing too much. But she was going on and on and on about how she did that name that shall not be spoken, but it was Kevin Sr. And she was going on with the showrunner, OG, about how if Kevin Sr. was on their platform, that she was like, they won't record, it'll be shut down if he doesn't have a voice on their platform. And OG was like, cool, so you don't want him to film on the show? She was like, absolutely not. And then she made it a point to say that she is here for her sister Traci in the here now and the afterlife, and she's always been here for her sister, and she's going to continue to be here for her sister. And she was standing 10 toes down in it. And I'm like, okay, true that, cool. But I got a question, because I just need clarity. I'm not trying to start nothing, but I need to know why Traci was calling you a snake in them seasons. And they are purposely not running any clips from Braxton Family Values, or they're being selective about the clips. Let's say that. They're being selective about the clips that they run from Braxton Family Values. Like, that would have been a perfect time to run the clip about her calling her a snake, but I guess they have creative control over what's shown. And so she's going on and on and on, and I want to know why the sisters are, I won't say hell-bent, but are really trying very hard to change the narrative of how they treated Traci and the dynamic of the relationship. It wasn't all rose petals and lollipops and gumdrops like y'all trying to make it out to be. So why are you trying to push this narrative like we gonna swallow what you feeding us? Is just not going to go. So no, just stop. Then we move on. We see Tamar in the studio with Nye, and this was a little bit of a side-eye moment, but she's just expressing herself and sharing her feelings, how she really doesn't wish to feel anything right now, because it is she is remembering her sister at the moment, and it is her sister's birthday, Traci, and it is a bittersweet moment because Tamar is actually having conflict, emotional conflict, with wanting to celebrate her single release that's doing very well. So she's, not knowing how to feel about that. So Nas just talking to her because he had, I don't know if it was a working relationship or a personal relationship. Nevertheless, he had a relationship with Traci. He knew Traci outside of Tamar. And he was just saying how Traci always praised her sister and was like, if you ever get a chance to work with my sister, you better take care of her, yada, yada, yada. But, I got a thing about when people got shades on in indoor spaces and places. If you are not suffering from a migraine or something that you need to block out the light, then I need to see your eyes. I need to see all of it, even if it's puffy, even if it's, whatever is going on. I need to see that emotion, because otherwise I question what you're trying to hide. But so she's saying that she wants to hear the song Walk Away. So she's listening to that. And then she makes mention about honoring Traci during her Love and War tour, that she made sure that she always played Last Call during her tour, throughout the entire tour. And I couldn't help but wanted to remember. I was like, is this the same tour that they said that you kicked Traci off of? Like I said, I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm just trying to put pieces together, because there is a lot of things that are disconnected, and now the most important piece of the puzzle is gone. So she can't fill in the blanks for us. So we're trying to match things together. Is this the same tour that you remove said person you're missing off of? And if so, drop down in the comment section, let me know. Y'all put these pieces together for me, because I need to know what happened in this, because she's saying that she honored Traci. Tawana talking about she didn't had Traci back all this time, but Traci calling her a low down dirty snake. And it's just like my granny would say, it just seems real unseemly. They just acting real unseemly, and it's not called for. But then we see the ladies meet up. It is Trina, Tamar, Tawanda, and Miss E. They meet up at the restaurant for a nightcap. And Trina and Tawanda get there first, and then Tamar enters in thereafter. And I found it very interesting that Tamar greeted and hugged Tawanda first. And I was wondering, was this intentional to try and diffuse or, quell rumors? So, but that would have been in real time. I don't know, but it still could have been to let me go ahead, because things can happen. So they hug, and then she hugs her sister Trina, and then Miss E walks in. They're discussing the things that happened with Lil Kev, KJ, and then Tony calls in on a call. She's calling in from France. She's in Europe. Tony stay on the go. And so they are filling Tony in on things that are going on with KJ. And so then they decide, that they want to rally around him and do whatever they can to try and take the load off of his plate. Again, like I said before, it just seems really contrived, and it's starting to wear thin, but we're going to keep up with it and see how it goes. But after they talk about, his situation, then they talk about what they are going to do for Traci's birthday, and they call it now her heavenly birthday. But that confuses me, honestly. That confuses me so bad, because when they say heavenly birthday, I'm like, are they celebrating the anniversary of her ascension, like her anniversary of her ascension, or I don't want to say the D word, or are they celebrating the actual celebration of her entering the world, her celebration of life? Which one is it? Even though she's not here, are you celebrating her birthday in her absence? Are you celebrating her birthday posthumously, or are you celebrating her ascension anniversary? But I think they were celebrating her actual birthday posthumously. But they go and decide that they want to do a crab feast theme birthday party because Traci loved crabs. And I'm like, y'all do everything in Atlanta, but I'm like, I guess everybody's Atlanta based, because they don't do anything in Maryland, because they still got a gang full of family in Maryland. And I'm like, is this really about family, or is this about what's convenient for y'all? Because it really seemed like y'all are divided, y'all separated. It's y'all and it's them. It's y'all little clique. And when I say it's y'all who chose to be with the mama, and then it's those who stayed in Maryland with the daddy. So then there became the great divide. Y'all and them. And that's what it just seems like to me. But they're going to have the crab feast themed birthday party, and they're going to invite a childhood friend by the name of Denise, who cared for Traci in her final days, who was her dear friend and also her caretaker. And then we see OG come over and celebrate Tamar on the release of her single and give her flowers. Tamar starts to reflect on Traci and how, she connected her with Nye, and just all of the good things, just remembering her sister. And she begins to cry. And she's like, you could just feel her presence. You can always feel her around. And she was like, it's just letting you know just how good of a person Traci was. And I think that's really cool. Sometimes I'm wondering, like, is it riddled in guilt? But right now we're just going to deal with the grief. Then we see Trina. She's at a venue with her sons and her husband, this axe throwing venue. And Trina, she has grandbaby fever. Like, she wants to be a grandmama, or as she says, a mumsy. She feels the need to be a duchess. She wants to be a grandmother. So Eric, I guess, is the eldest son, whom Oh my gosh, like these kids are grown. He is married, and she want him to hunch his wife so they could make a baby for her. Like, no. We hunch for sport, not for procreation. That is not part of their ministry, Trina. And Caleb still stay with you, so you shouldn't be wanting him to be making no babies out your house. So they tell her no, they don't want no kids. Bond has a side conversation with her children when she excuses herself. And basically it was like, if you want to take control of the situation without the wife's consent, basically telling them you can get a vasectomy. That way you don't have to worry about whether or not your wife is okay with having a baby, because he was basically sharing with them almost the same thing Trina was sharing. When a woman makes up in her mind, like if she may say she don't want a baby now, but if she changed her mind and she want a baby, like when it comes to her husband, sometimes they can be very convincing. So, yeah. But I don't think it's cool that he had that conversation with her kids. Then the next scene, we see Wanda in her vehicle wanting to bombard us with the Scratchy. She has her car programmed to say, calling Scratchy. It's like, okay, girl. And then she's like, it's almost like she knew that we were getting tired. And we were like, we're not buying this. We're not buying this Scratchy, Wanda. So she had the car programmed to say, calling Scratchy. Now, here's the thing about nicknames. My pseudonym is still my childhood nickname. It's pretty much my channel name, Ronnie P. There are variations. There's Ronnie. Not too many relatives call me by my full name, which is Veronica. But yeah, pretty much everybody calls me Ronnie. My granny used to call me Bonnie. Shout out to my granny. I miss my granny very much. My granny called me Bonnie. And then my brother, oh my gosh, miss my brother. Shout out to my oldest brother, Ricky. He called me Miss Piggy. So those are two names that I won't hear anymore, okay? But for the most part, every other name I still hear. There are some, I say that to say there are times that you cannot outgrow your nickname or a childhood nickname. However, the context behind the nickname that she gave him is because he had a raspy, or like she said, his voice used to sound really scratchy, really hoarse. Okay, it's fine. I don't know why I'm doing this. Maybe because she does that, so she got me doing that now. So his voice was really scratchy, really hoarse. Okay, fine. But he's outgrown it. So because he's outgrown it, I feel like you kind of outgrown the nickname. It's kind of one of those things. You kind of evolve to something else, maybe. But she wants to hold it, so we're going to let her hold it. So she's on the phone with KJ, and she's talking to him about the plans for the surprise, the birthday party for his mom. And she's like, how about us buying a ticket for you to fly to Atlanta to come and be a part of the festivities? He's like, oh, that would be great. She's like, now I need you to keep it a secret. I need you to not tell anybody because you're going to be the surprise. He's like, oh, it's going to be a surprise. He's like, yeah. So he's like, oh, okay. So she's like, I need you to keep this a secret. So she says she's going to get all of that situated and going to take care of everything. So then we're arriving at the party, and we see Tamar arrive at the party. All I can say is the harp player was given Stairway to Heaven. It was just given, it was given real repass. And I'm glad that they asked him to stop that music. Now you could, if you could play some Mary J. Blige on your harp, if you could play Family Affair on your harp, we down for that. But not the swing low. No. So then they go, Tawanda goes out, she brings in little Kev comes in, surprise. So, you know, everybody was happy to see him. It looked like his cousins were happiest to see him, which I think is dope. It's nothing like having like a really supportive group of cousins that like really down for you and got your back like that. I think that's dope. And then they talk about the crabs and how they're crab snobs. I'm like, child boo, y'all live in Atlanta and y'all trying to get some crabs, and if you thought somebody was gonna fly some or have some crabs shipped in from Maryland or whatever for your little thing, you got life messed up. So this was the meat and potatoes kind of the episode. Tamar is discussing when she found out Traci was sick. Now she says she found out when the hospice caretaker or the hospice worker was at the home. She found out, she said that when she found out Traci had like 2 weeks to live or something of that nature. However, I watched a video with Kevin Sr. I think it was Sherelle's World. She did an interview, and he mentioned when he got everybody together to talk to them, and he got everybody together on a Zoom call. So I'm wondering, okay, if he got everybody together on a Zoom call, you're saying you didn't find out until 2 weeks after. Why weren't you on that Zoom call? And he said everybody. So everybody would mean inclusive. That would be including you. Why didn't you know? And I'm thinking that you did know because Tawanda excused herself from the table at that time. And as soon as she excused herself from the table, she was like, I don't know what she's talking about. She was like, that's her journey, that's her truth. So I'm going to let her tell it, but I don't know what she's talking about because whatever she's talking about, I wasn't there for. So I'm trying to figure out, maybe she's just recollecting things, the timelines mixed up. And then when Trina lets her know, she's like, well, there was a time when you and Traci weren't on good terms. Maybe that's why she elected not to tell you when she told everybody else or when everybody else found out. She's like, I just told you we were fine. She helped me put my closets together. She said, oh, okay. She said, is there something that you know that I don't? She said, well, maybe we should call Nye over. I think he would be aware because I think she was upset with him around the same time. So he said, oh, that was when they had he was like, when we had the performance at the Howard University. This was like right before the pandemic. And then I don't want to say all of a sudden or conveniently or automatically, whatever the situation is, Tamar then remembered what Trina could have been speaking of. Actually, she did remember what Trina was speaking of. So she's like, well, that was, you know how people be like, oh, that was back then. Oh, that was different. No, chick. Your sister wasn't fucking with you at the time. And maybe she came and did a closet with you or whatever, but it wasn't enough for her to tell you about her condition. But it still don't sound right because he said everybody was on that phone call. And Miss Ma'am got up and excused herself because she was like, your timeline's not adding up either. So then she asked, well, why do you think Traci decided to leave you last or didn't want to tell you? She was like, you know, I don't know. I won't get the answer to that. And then Denise interjected and said, well, you know, I asked her, you know, reach out to your sisters. You know, you could talk to your sisters. You know, you need to talk to them. She said, I don't want to bother them. She said, I don't want to bother them. That is twofold. I could understand, okay, they have families, they have lives. You don't want to seem like you're interfering. But then the words, I don't want to bother them. Did you feel like a bother, Traci? Did you feel like you were impeding on their lives? Did you feel like a burden in some kind of way? Did they make you feel like you were a burden in some kind of way? Because if they did, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. And I take it personal because I had two brothers and my brothers aren't here anymore. They're gone. They're going on to be with the Lord, and I won't see them until I make it in. So yeah, if they pulling bald head antics, it baffles me and it makes no sense. None of this makes any sense to me. So at the end, Miss E get her fast ass out there talking about she want to do the electric slide. Only 4 people get up and do the electric slide because these children do not know the electric slide. So the mama, the 2 sisters, and Denise get up and do the electric slide. Tamar didn't even get up and do the electric slide. It was just the mama, Trina, Tawanda, and Denise doing the electric slide. Or some variation of it. And that's where season 1, episode 5 ended. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know if you feel like Tamar really was the last to know, or if she got the information sooner than what she recalls. Also, let me know if you think that Vaughn might have been a little intrusive on that vasectomy topic with Trina's sons. Maybe it's something that he should have kept for his children instead of her children. As always, I thank you so much for rocking with me because I rock with you. And if there was no you, there would be no me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I know y'all like this new change. I was tired. My legs was hurting. So I wanted to come in and be in my living room. I hope y'all like it. Wipe your feet when you come in my house. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And until next time, bye.